Happy Monday to all of you, and welcome to this edition of DMS 3000 News. It's episode number 135 on this Monday, March 11th, 2024. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. I know I did because we had some fantastic shows that we had given you on the David 3000 Network, including our second episode of Saturdays with McVeigh and Jay. It was a fun show, and you had to have been there. You should have been there because you should have been there live because we had given you a great show. You got to go back and watch it because there was a funny interview, funny stories, and just a lot of weird recipe sharing. And we're getting weirder and weirder. And we're not going to tell you what we're going to have on the next show. You're just going to have to come to the show and tune in live on your Saturday night. So if you're not doing anything, please come to the show and watch it religiously because it's full of great entertainment and we will keep you occupied for an hour. Okay? Now, as they say, I am the host of the show here, Jason DiCadio. Thank you very much. Got a new banner up there, different border. Oh, yeah, we got the blue going here. It matches the set and everything. A little bit of an experiment that we're working on now, and I think it's actually going to be fine for the rest of the seasons and everything. Getting real close to Easter. I hope that you had a fantastic daylight savings time. I know you lost an hour of sleep, but hopefully that didn't throw off your schedule as far as getting to church or doing any other important things that you had to do on a Sunday morning. That's why they have it on Sunday for that reason. So that way you're not rushed to get out of the house to have to go to work. Now, if you did have to work and you were working the overnights like I used to do, you remember those days. You sure do. I do because they threw off the whole schedule for clocking in and clocking out. And, well, yeah, those were the days of not being able to just know when and where you were going and how you were getting there. Okay, so with that in mind, let's look at the headlines. Let's look at the articles that we're going to be covering today on this March 11th, 2024. First one up is here's what your handwriting says about you, according to an expert. It's not interesting, but it might be motivational and inspirational to see what your handwriting really says about you. An interesting topic to some, boring to others, but in the end, this is what the expert says that your handwriting says about you. And then down the crime fiction rabbit hole with Iris Yamashita, who's the author of City Under One Roof. We'll look at her fantastic interview sit down with Reader's Digest as she discusses her fantastic book, The City Under One Roof. And why is the snooze button on your clock radio 9 minutes? Why does it go off every 9 minutes? Why can't, well, you could set it to every 10 minutes, you could set it to every 5 minutes. But why is it 9 minutes on the manufacturer's sets? We'll give you that interesting story just a little bit later on in the program. Of course, we've got headlines, sports, and other important information. News of the weirdest today, of course, because it is Monday. And boy, if you didn't see them on Saturday, you missed one heck of a show because we cover the news of the weird on Saturdays with McVeigh and Jay. So you might want to check that every Saturday to get the first-hand look at the news of the weird. We'll also look at what days today toward the end of the program, and that, of course, with the motivation of the day. So what days today and the motivation of the day, they'll be towards the end of the program after our third article as we conclude another great show here on the David 3000 Network. Okay? Don't forget to chillin' 3000 Hangouts with David St. Dennis every Wednesday at 6 o'clock, give or take. The man has some great interviews coming up in this season. I'm not sure who he's going to have this time, but I know his last interview with Jason Kelly was a fantastic one. Got a lot of great views. And thank you, Jason Kelly, for participating in it. Thank you for saying those great things about me as well, too. We have a great relationship, me and Jason, even though we have not met each other and we've been friends for the last 13 years. And of course, Wednesday nights at 9 o'clock, well, Wipe Those Tears once again comes on, and the 25th episode, friends, is upon us. That's right. Episode 25 is going to happen with the K's. We're in the K's right now, and soon to go into the L's. we're halfway there, folks, for the NES games. And I always say, we appreciate the fact that you want to see different tiers happening and all of this great stuff. But at the same time, thank you for letting us cover each game one by one and let the tier masters take care of their critiques and give you what they think is good or bad about the games that have been on the NES lineup. Of course, everybody's opinion is going to be different for that matter. So you really can't, everybody's going to have a difference of opinion when it comes to critiquing. Okay, so let the tier masters come up with some great ones, and that's why I say join us on the live show and tell us what you really think in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Okay, so all of that and more on this edition of 135th episode of our show. I'll tell you about my weight loss journey with the other important information in just a little bit. Now we're going to go, of course, to the headlines today from March 11th, 2024. Of course, they are from NPR. And here we go. Anti-sex trafficking advocate accuses GOP Senator Katie Britt of distorting her story. The woman who appears central to an anecdote told by GOP Senator Katie Britt from Alabama in the GOP response to the State of the Union called the use of her story distorted for political purposes. Folks, she's the youngest of all of the senators on the Republican side of the coin here. And I think she gave one great response to Joe Biden's lies and deceptions and all of that stuff. So, draw your own conclusions. And for all you left wingers out there who think Joe Biden is a saint, think again, because one day your lies are going to come back to bite you in the butt. Okay? Just what I'm saying. You didn't hear it from me. Okay? Virginia has banned legacy admissions at its public colleges. The new law, which passed unanimously in the Virginia House and Senate, will take effect July 1st. Wow. The 5-month mark passes as the humanitarian crisis grows in Gaza. Ramadan begins as 5 months of war passes in Gaza. Countries including Jordan, Sweden, Canada, and the U.S. continue to contribute aid to help with the growing humanitarian crisis. And will you be celebrating the solar eclipse? NPR wants to hear from you. Is this your first total solar eclipse, or did you have your classes out in 2017 too? However you're celebrating, we want to hear from you. One reason school cyber attacks are on the rise, schools are easy targets for hackers. Yeah, school systems of every size have been hit by cyber attacks. It's not Johnny in his room trying to break in and change his grades anymore, says one superintendent. Yeah. Wrestling with my husband's fear of getting COVID again. My husband is at high risk and still takes COVID precautions. I want our old life back. Yes. Biden unveils a budget that would cut costs for families and hike taxes for the rich. Figures. President Biden's $7.3 trillion budget wish list puts dollar figures to his pledges in the State of the Union address, but actual spending plans are up to Congress. What to know about the confusion over Kate Middleton's edited family photo? Like many amateur photographs, I do occasionally experiment with editing, the Princess of Wales said, acknowledging suspicions about her family photo. And of course, Ramadan begins without a ceasefire. Oppenheimer sweeps the Oscars. Ramadan begins in many countries without the Israel-Hamas ceasefire that the U.S. hoped would be in place by the holy month, plus takeaways from an Oscars ceremony heavy on the Kennedy. The U.S. prison population is rapidly graying. Prisons aren't built for what's coming. By one measure, about a third of all prisoners will be considered geriatric by 2013. Prison systems are grappling with how to care for their elderly prisoners and how to pay for them. Yes. As Ramadan begins, uncertainty and anxiety surround the Al-Qasim Mosque. Yes, questions remain about access to the main Islamic Congressional Mosque and the Al-Aqsa compound of Jerusalem's Old City, as Palestinians see the site as essential to their identity. Muslims prepare for a more somber Ramadan due to the Israel-Hamas war. Yes. As the holy month of the Ramadan begins, Muslims are preparing for a less joyful observance this year. Fasting and charity take on a different meaning when many in Gaza are suffering. Harris plans to visit the Parkland school where 14 kids were killed in 2018. Vice President Harris will walk through Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida on March 23rd with the families of the victims who were killed there in a mass shooting. Young voters helped elect Biden in 2020. His campaign is courting them again in 2024. Students for Biden-Harris is focused on building a large volunteer base of young supporters through student-led groups. Recruiting young voters could be key to President Biden's re-election hopes. Women who do strength training live longer. How much is enough? Well, strength training is good for everyone, but women who train regularly reduce the risk of death from heart disease significantly. And here are 5 other hidden benefits of building muscle. The new kids on campus, toddlers, courtesy of Head Start, and not just toddlers, infants and preschoolers too. A new effort aims to help the 4 million college students raising kids by putting Head Start programs on community college campuses. How high blood sugar, hypertension, and obesity can add up to cancer risk. It's known that obesity is linked to many cancers. The study shows metabolic syndrome, which includes factors like high blood pressure and insulin resistance. Now, it also drives increased risk. Oscars 2024, Night of Oppenheimer, Quiet Protest, and Ryan Gosling just being Ken. For a night with relatively few surprises but some very enjoyable winners, it was a solid show that honored an awful lot of good movies and movies that drew significant audiences. Oppenheimer wins Oscar for the Best Picture. Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer capped off a big night at the Oscars by being the popular and highly regarded director's first film to win the top prize. Red carpet looks from the 2024 Oscars. Check out this year's most memorable red carpet looks from the 2024 Oscars. And finally, as a USA ship heads to Gaza, Biden again warns Netanyahu on civilian deaths. The U.S. ship left Virginia this weekend as part of an emergency mission to help build a temporary pier in Gaza to facilitate aid. Biden criticized the Israeli prime minister over civilian deaths in Gaza. He criticizes him because he is anti-Israel, folks. Why don't you go look at some footage of what he did back some 40, 50 years ago when he was a senator, okay, in his younger days. Why don't you go ahead and watch Life, Liberty, and Levin and get the real story of this scumbag? And then you can draw your own conclusions. If you still think he's a saint and a god, he's not helping Benjamin Netanyahu. He's actually hurting him. Okay? He doesn't care. He's a bigot, he's a fascist, and he's a Marxist. Yes, the wolf is in the sheep's clothing, and you people are getting fooled every day. Shame on you. Okay? That's the story of it. We're trying to tell you this. If you listen to us, we can give you the real information that they're not telling you. Okay? That's why we do the headlines in the beginning of the show, to give you the real stories. You draw your own conclusions from it. And that's the headlines for today, March 11, 2024. Let's go to the NBA and get to the sports scores, because we had a lot of sports over the weekend, including on Friday's games. So let's take a look at that. We have a lot to cover. Let's scroll up. The NBA season is winding down, folks. Yep. Let's take a look at here. Friday's games, the Wizards over the Hornets, 112 to 100. It was the Pelicans over the 76ers, 103 to 95. Cavaliers, 113. Timberwolves, 104. Knicks beat the Magic, 98 to 74. Hawks over the Grizzlies, 99 to 92. Thunder over the Heat, 107 to 100. Rockets defeat the Trailblazers, 123 to 107. And the Lakers take care of the Bucks by a point, 123 to 122. Saturday's game, Clippers over the Bulls, 112 to 102. It was the Mavericks crushing the Pistons, 142 to 124. Hornets beat the Nets, 110 to 99. Spurs over the Warriors, 126 to 113 in an upset. Celtics over the Suns, 117 to 107. Nuggets crushed the Jazz, 142 to 121. And the Trailblazers over the Raptors, 128 to 118. Yesterday, Bucks over the Clippers, 124 to 117. Rockets, 112. Kings, 104. Pelicans, 116. Hawks, 103. Wizards over the Heat, 110 to 108. Pacers over the Magic, 111 to 97. 76ers take care of the Knicks, 79 to 73. Low scoring game. Thunder over the Grizzlies, 124 to 93. And the Nets beat the Cavaliers. Holy cow. What a game. Wow. 120 to 101. What happened? They couldn't beat the Hornets the night before? What, are you intimidated by a Hornets team? You intimidated by a Pistons team? I'll have some more information for you about the Nets. Lakers over the Timberwolves, 120 to 109. Tonight's games, Hornets and Pistons. Tip-off is at 7 o'clock. Suns at the Cavaliers at 7:30. At 8 o'clock, the Warriors will take on the Spurs in San Antonio. Mavericks at the Bulls at 8 o'clock. Raptors at the Nuggets at 9. And the Celtics will take on the Trailblazers in Portland at 10:30. Okay, we've got hockey for you. Let's take a look at that right now. We're on the verge of it. There was a lot of hockey also too. So let's take a look at Friday night's games. In overtime, the Avalanche beat the Wild 2-1. Coyotes 4, Red Wings nothing in the shutout. Ducks over the Stars 6-2. No, I'm sorry, Stars over the Ducks 6-2. The Stars actually have first place in the Western Conference. And the Jets shut out the Kraken 3-0. On Saturday, the Hurricanes take care of the Devils 4-2. Sabres over the Oilers 3-2 in a shootout. Predators 2, Jackets 1. Bruins over the Penguins 5-1. Flames over the Panthers over the Flames 5-1. Sharks 2, Senators 1. Maple Leafs 3, Canadians 2. The Capitals take care of the Blackhawks 4-1. Lightning over the Flyers. Shut them out. Lightning shut them out 7-0. Rangers shut out the Blues 4-0. Golden Knights 5, Red Wings 3. Canucks 5-0 over the Jets. And the Stars, once again, they beat the Kings 4-1 in LA. And yesterday, the Oilers over the Penguins 4-0. Wild over the Predators 4-3 in an overtime game. Hurricanes 7, Flames 2. Blackhawks over the Coyotes 7-4. And the Islanders take care of the Ducks in Anaheim 6-1. Tonight's games, Rangers and the Devils in the Garden face off at 7 o'clock. Blues at the Bruins at 7. The Capitals at the Jets at 7:30. And the Islanders will take on the Kings tonight on the late game at 10:30. Let's go to the MLB. We're getting close, folks. It is officially 17 days to the regular season. And, of course, the dugout crew with myself, Joey Acacia, Eric Lima, and, of course, David St. Dennis, and, of course, Jesse Ortiz will all be there for Season 2 of the Dugout Crew, March 28th at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So mark your calendars. Opening day starts March 28th, and I also have a special announcement for you, too, as well. Let's look at the scores for the MLB. We've got a lot of them. So let's go back to Friday night's games. Yep, let's scroll up here. Okay, here are the Friday games. Pirates and the Braves, 6-6 in the tie. Phillies over the Astros, 6-3. Pirates 6, Twins 3. That was what they call a short staff. Yep. So when you see those games where the Pirates are playing two different teams, they split. It's a split squad. Okay. So the Blue Jays over the Yankees 2-1. It was the Guardians 2, White Sox 1. Cubs 9, Mariners 5. Royals over the Rangers 4-2. Angels 8, Rockies 7. Brewers over the Athletics 7-4. Diamondbacks 7, Cubs 5. Cardinals 7, Nationals 6. The Orioles over the Tigers 4-3. Mets defeat the Marlins 3-1, and the Brewers over the Athletics 5-4. On Saturday, the Astros 9, Nationals 4. Brewers over the Braves 10-3. Twins 10, Yankees 7. Mets over the Cardinals 9-3. They're on a winning streak. Tigers over the Pirates 8-5. Blue Jays 13, Phillies 5. Wow. Angels over the Guardians 5-4. Giants 5, Athletics 1. 5-0 Cubs over the Rockies. Royals beat the Diamondbacks 6-5. Dodgers over the Rangers 7-1. White Sox and Padres, they finish in a 1-1 tie. The Reds over the Diamondbacks 7-5. Mariners over the Brewers 7-5. Athletics take care of the Brewers on the other split squad 4-2. And the Red Sox shut out the Rays 4-0. And the Marlins over the Nationals 4-1. In spring training yesterday, Red Sox 7, Rays 6, Yankees 9, Braves 8. Blue Jays and the Orioles tied up at 6 apiece. That was the final. Marlins 3, Astros nothing. Phillies over the Pirates 9-7. Nationals 7, Twins 3. Orioles over the Blue Jays 11-6. Tigers defeat the Mets 3-2. Cardinals over the Marlins 12-8. Athletics 6, Royals 3. Cubs over the Rangers 5-1. Dodgers 12. Diamondbacks 1. Wow. Reds 5, Guardians 3. Giants over the White Sox 5-4. Mariners over the Giants 8-3. Angels over the Padres 5-4. And the Rockies beat the Brewers 3-1. Now in today's games we have some finals. Red Sox over the Pirates in a shutout 1-0. Braves shut out the Twins 3-0. Yankees 5, Orioles 3. Blue Jays 9, Rays 2. Nationals over the Cardinals. Final today 11-4. Yankees 2, Phillies 1. Tigers over the Astros 5-3. Today's games 4:05 probably already started. Giants and the Royals. Rockies at the White Sox. Dodgers at the Guardians. Athletics at the Diamondbacks. Padres at the Mariners at 4:10, which is probably already starting. Rangers at the Angels. Mets and Marlins at 6:10 tonight. And there you have it, folks. The sports for today, March 11th, 2024. Now for the important information to kind of pass along to you. We have coming up in the regular season of baseball on Friday nights from 7 to 10, myself will be hosting the David 3000 play-by-play Fridays. That's right, where I will be giving you the play-by-play of either the Mets or the Orioles, whoever is going to be playing in town that week. Even if the Mets are on the road, as long as they're playing an Eastern team and it's at 7:30 that night, we'll have it for you. If not, we'll have the Baltimore Orioles facing off against whoever they're facing off in the American League side of it. So you'll see two games, and of course, David St. Dennis will be giving you play-by-plays as well, probably on Saturday, and we might do it on Sunday as well too. Might have those 4 o'clock games for you, whatever the case. If you'd like to host a play-by-play like Brian Snow does, do it, because we would love to have your play-by-play on the David 3000 Network. It would be fantastic. Now, for the other important information that I want to pass on to you, well, 14 weeks down, folks, and I'm in week 16. Yes. After 15 weeks down, I lost another half a pound. So now, after 15 weeks, 30.5 pounds down, current weight 303.5. Hey, half a pound is better than gaining a full pound. That's all I got to say about that. So I'm really happy about it. It's really showing in my face more than anything else. So I kind of splurged a little bit this past week. That's okay. I'll get back on the plan. Of course, this is a new week, so we're going to go ahead and crack down. I'm getting real closer to getting under 300. I'm going to have tears of joy if I can get under 300 pounds by the end of the month. That would be fantastic. Only have to lose 3.5 to get there, maybe more. We'd love to have that situation happen. Whatever the case, thank you for your continued support. Send those messages, send those likes, and of course, continue urging me on. Hold me accountable if ever. I think I only gained once in the 15 weeks that I've been on so far, and that was about 2 pounds. Other than that, the next week I dropped a pound, 1.5 pounds. So I was able to cancel out what I had gained and still be able to eat great. Okay, it's 4:24. When we come back, we're going to be looking at the news of the weird, and then we'll go into our first article, which is, well, here's what your handwriting says about you, according to an expert. We'll be back with more DMS 3000 news right after this.
Sure, Lipton iced tea's been around longer than 4C, but times change and tastes change, sometimes for the better. Today, more and more people are drinking 4C iced tea.
4C tastes terrific.
4C does taste better.
Fact is, in a recent taste test, today's hard-to-please teens favored the lively taste of 4C over Lipton almost 3-2.
It's great.
So if you're still stuck on Lipton, isn't it time you changed to today's 4C?
I'd like a steak for dinner.
So would I.
You know, maybe I'd like some seafood.
Would you make up your mind?
Sizzler's introducing Build Your Own Platter for lunch or dinner. 8 great items to pick from. Choose 1 like grilled chicken for $3.99. Choose any 2 like steak and shrimp for $5.99. Choose any 3 and build your own huge platter for $7.99.
I'll have the steak and scallops.
I'll have the salmon and shrimp.
Me too.
Would you make up your mind?
Keebler presents the appealing taste of baked potato skins in a crunchy chip.
Potato skins got baked potato appeal because they're made with potatoes and skins that are real.
The Keebler elves make potato skin snack chips with real potatoes and skins.
Cheddar cheese and bacon, sour cream and chives, tasty baked potato.
And they finally got barbecue flavor too.
They're made with potatoes and skins that are real. Potato skins from Keebler, baked potato appeal.
Are you gonna dance your whole life away? What about your future? Don't you worry about getting old? He doesn't have to. He has a MetLife retirement plan. MetLife annuities earn tax-deferred interest and guarantee an income for life. What do you say to that? Away? Oh, brother. Get
outrageously right. Kudos, granola snacks. Pleasing, teasing. Kudos, I'm yours. I'm yours. Nutty fudge, chocolate chip, or peanut butter. Kudos, you won me over any other. Electrifying, granola fire. Simply nutritious, outrageously delicious. Kudos, I'm yours. I'm yours.
A musical lesson in refreshment. Ocean Spray Cranapple.
Ah, so tangy, so crisp, so cool. Ocean Spray.
Taste refreshing Ocean Spray Cranapple.
This is so cool.
It's music to your mouth. Ah.
Hey, welcome back to DMS 3000 News. It's episode 135 on this Monday, March 11, 2024. I hope you had a great weekend. I'm glad you were with us here today, actually. We spent some time enjoying the show. We've got our articles coming up in a little bit here, and we're ready to hit the ball over the fence. With our, of course, our news of the weird. Yes, that time again from the editors at Andrews McNeil Syndication for the week of March 8th, 2024. News of the Weird comes out every Friday, so to get a really first-hand look at it, you have to check out Saturdays with McVeigh and Jay to get that first crack at it. So, let's look at the opening story called That's Sporting. The 2024 Iditarod race in Alaska got off to a messy start, Sporting News reported on March 7th. Now, on the first day, musher Jesse Holmes went mano a mano with a moose that became aggressive toward his dogs on the trail. Holmes punched the moose in the nose and went on his way. He had no remorse for the moose, you know. Soon after, Dallas Seavey and his dogs came upon a moose. It's not clear whether it was the same one that was threatening and belligerent. When the moose got entangled with his dogs, Seavey dispensed with the heroics and shot it. As per the Iditarod rules, Seavey then stopped for about 10 minutes to field dress the moose, but he was later assessed a 2-hour penalty at the next checkpoint because the animal was not sufficiently gutted by the musher. A third musher, Wally Robinson, ran across the moose carcass in the dark on a trail curving through woods. Race Marshal Warren Palfrey confirmed that we are making sure that every attempt is made to utilize and salvage the moose meat. So there's that. That's right. We're going to have fresh moose after this race, folks. So have some moose burgers and let's go eat and have a moose buffet. You know what I mean? Looking for something light and airy to do at the end of April? Set your GPS for Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania and the Crafton Ingram Lanes, where Balls Out Bowling will return on April 28th, according to WTRF TV. The Pittsburgh area naturalists are hosting the event, which requires nudity, except women are allowed to wear bottoms. All participants must be 18 or older, and sexual activity is not permitted. Harassment will result in being ejected from the bowling alley. And leave your cell phone at home. No photos or videos allowed. You won't have anywhere to carry it anyways. As the last remaining Hooters restaurant in West Virginia prepared for demolition, residents of Kanawha City gathered on February 23rd for a candlelight vigil, WCHS-TV reported. The event, which started as a joke, got international attention and hundreds of people showed up. A lot of memories going on down there with that building, said Noah Collins of Rand, West Virginia. Cheerful, formal Hooters employees reunited for one last time. I started out coming in to get a job, and it became so much more because I met so many lifelong friends and my coworkers, said Daniel Hugard. This building right here was a legitimate iconic figure to the Kanawha Valley, declared co-organizer Leo Browning. The corporate office sent a box of calendars to distribute to those who attended the vigil. Dr. Chrysantin Ilko, 33, a junior research fellow and director of studies at the University of Cambridge Queen's College in England, lives in a medieval tower, the Independent reported. But on February 29th, Ilko became trapped in her bathroom for 7 hours after the wooden door locked behind her and wouldn't budge. couldn't signal or yell for help because the tower walls are thick and there are no windows in the bathroom. However, she kept her cool and MacGyvered the door open using an eyeliner to push down the door's latch and a cotton swab to pull the locking mechanism away from the door frame. When the door opened, it was exhilarating because I didn't think it would work, Hilco said. Since the incident, she's had the lock removed. Good idea. In Kennesaw, Georgia, police responded to the Heritage Park townhomes on February 21st after a Toyota Corolla ran through the pool fence. And she's in the middle of the pool, said the 911 caller. Fox 5 TV reported that the driver suffered some sort of medical emergency and was unconscious when officers arrived. They were able to break a car window and get her out of the car. She was taken to a hospital and was expected to make a full recovery, according to Cobb County Police. The pool cover was so strong that the car didn't sink. The tow truck removed it from the cover later in the day. The Putnam County, Florida Sheriff's Office was flooded with calls on March 2nd after two low-flying F-15 jets from the Florida Air National Guard caused sonic booms. News 4Jax TV reported. I never heard the sonic booms anyway on March 2nd. It destroyed my friggin' house, one caller exclaimed, while others thought a bomb had dropped. I have major damage. They flew right over my house. The lights were blown off the walls. There's glass everywhere, said another. The National Guard issued a statement saying they were aware of damage sustained by the sonic booms and had established a contact number for residents who had damage claims. For Connor James Litka, 21 years of age, from Bloomington, Indiana, it was, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Litka arrived at a Porsche shop dealership in Louisville, Kentucky on February 21st to try to buy a car with a fake $78 million check. Wave TV reported that when he was rebuffed, he searched around the back entrance to the showroom looking for car keys. Salespeople summoned police who charged him with criminal trespass and disorderly conduct. Turns out Litka tried the same stunt the day before at a Land Rover dealership where he presented a $12 million check. 71-year-old Ann Hughes was standing outside the Best One shop in Tontag, Wales, where she works, when the electric security shutters started raising, catching her coat and leaving her dangling upside down 7 feet in the air. Talk about a hair-raising experience. The incident from March 4th was caught on CCTV, Sky News reported. She hung in the air until a shopkeeper helped free her as the shutter was lowered. I'm learning to live with the fame, Hughes said. I'll never hear the end of it. She was uninjured in the mishap. Rayola Al-Qasimi, female reporter, was covering an event in Riyadh on March 4th when a Saudi Arabian robot called Android Muhammad unexpectedly slapped her posterior during a live shot, the Daily Star. Al-Qasimi pushed the robot's hand away and rebuked him. Before the untoward touching, Android Muhammad introduced himself, saying, I was manufactured and developed here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia as a national project to demonstrate our achievements in the field of artificial intelligence. Well, ironically, had he been a real man, he might have faced jail time for his inappropriate behavior. Spanish artist Alicia Framis, now based in Amsterdam, has created the perfect husband, a hologram that she designed and named AI Lex Sibu Wilgen. Wow. Whom she modeled on past paramours, according to Euronews. Framis plans to marry him this summer at a museum in Rotterdam, the Netherlands. Now, on her Instagram page, Framis shares photos and videos of herself and the artificial Lex, sharing meals and other elements of daily life. Love and sex with robots and holograms are an inevitable reality, Framis said. They are great companions and capable of expressing empathy. Sure, as long as they give in and they don't talk back, everything's great, right? And finally, 55-year-old Lorraine B. Farrello and 63-year-old Karen Koshbaum were charged with theft and gross abuse of a corpse after allegedly carrying out a weekend at Bernie's stunt in Ashtabula, Ohio, the Smoking Gun reported. On March 4th, police said Ferraro Let's see if I can pronounce this. Ferraro. I want to say Ferraro, but it's Ferraro. Ferraro and Koshbaum, who were not related to Douglas Simon, who's 80 years of age, but live in his home, loaded his corpse into the front seat of a car in such a manner that he would be visible to bank staff, and drove through his bank, where they used his card to withdraw $900. The bank had allowed the women to withdraw from his account before as long as he was with them. Now, having secured the funds, the women then dropped Lehman's body at the Ashtabula County Medical Center emergency room without providing any information about the man or themselves. Police said they were able to identify the women and question them. The women, both of whom have significant priors, said Lehman died in his home. There you have it, friends. The news of the weird for March 8th, 2024. And of course, the editors at Andrews McNeil Syndication for UExpress.com. Fantastic stories. And of course, if you'd like to get the first cut of those stories every week, well, join us on Saturdays with McVeigh and Jay at 9 p.m. Eastern Time to get all of the good, fresh stories that have come out of the presses from these guys from UExpress.com. When we come back, we'll start the first of our 3 articles about your handwriting and what it says about you. According to the experts, we have some fantastic news for you. So get a piece of paper and a pencil, take some notes, because here's what your handwriting is going to say about you. We'll be back with more DMS 3000 News right after this.
Hi, that guy from Apex Tech, at it again, telling you to call us, get into our training program for auto mechanics. Next time you see a mechanic at work, ask him where he learned his trade. And don't be surprised if he says Apex.
I learned auto mechanics at Apex Technical School. Now I do the kind of work I always wanted to do.
2.5 years ago, I graduated my course at Apex Technical School. And now I have my own shop.
Hey, how about you? How about joining the Apex Mechanic Training Program? Call us. We won't send a salesman out. We'll invite you to come in, look over our shops, look at our job placement records, and talk about qualifications for financial assistance during your training. Now, I can't phone you. To get the information, you have to take the first step. Give us a call now. 265-8100. Our switchboard is open right now. 265-8100.
This commercial is pure baloney. Boar's Head baloney. Unlike some balonies, we don't add soy or cornstarch. We don't add cereal. We don't add extenders. We don't add artificial color. Boar's Head bologna is made from pure beef and pork, and not beef and pork byproducts either. We wouldn't put any meat in our bologna that you wouldn't put on your own table. Boar's Head, pure bologna, not phony bologna.
How about a movie? It's such a nice day. How about a drive?
No.
You wouldn't like to go to your mother's house again?
There's a place not far from you. A beautiful 250-acre park with streams and trees and grass and lions and tigers and elephants.
How about my mother's house?
Working Man's Guide to Burgers. First, you get yourself a happening piece of equipment. Dual burners, auto-ignite, the works. Then go to Burger King for the burgers. Yes, any thinking man knows that Burger King does it like you do it. Flame broil so they're sizzling juicy and so tasty. Then you don't have to clean your fierce new grill. Now that's thinking, man. We do it like you do it. When we do it like we do it at Burger King.
Cheerios!
How'd they get up there?
Yummy Oreos!
Whoops!
Cheerios. Crunchy, yummy Oreos. Toasted for extra crunchiness. Extra goodness in every yummy spoonful. Cheerios, the tasty part of this nutritious breakfast.
Cheerios!
When you want the great taste of Cheerios,
Cheerios!
just Cheeriodle.
One
Well, Atari keeps trying to sell you new systems like the 5200. With ColecoVision, you only need one system because ColecoVision expands to give you a Super Action controller set with Super Action Baseball, a driving module with turbo, an expansion module to play all Atari 2600 games, and only ColecoVision expands to become Atom, the complete family computer system. So if you don't want to keep buying new systems, there's only one system to buy, ColecoVision. Sorry, Atari.
Sorry, Atari. Welcome back to DMS 3000 News. Oh, hope you enjoyed those fantastic retro commercials from long ago. Probably about 50 years worth of those fantastic stuff. 45 years for some of those commercials. So that would almost put me at the age of 1, for that matter. All right. Let's get on with this program here. We've got some first of 3 articles ready to go. And Elizabeth Yuko is going to give us this fantastic article that was actually written about a couple weeks ago. Here's what your handwriting says about you. The way you dot your I's and cross your T's means more than you may think. Here's what handwriting analysis reveals about your personality. Ooh, look at that. While human beings are complex, often confusing creatures, it can be difficult to understand our own behaviors and motivations, let alone somebody else's. So we look for clues anywhere we can, including in handwriting. In fact, this seemingly small action can reveal more about your personality than you might think. That's what makes handwriting analysis, also known as graphology, so fascinating. Like body language, handwriting is analyzed in an attempt to gain a deeper understanding of a person's behavior, motivations, or personality, says Annette Posner, who is a certified graphologist, registered social worker, and licensed psychotherapist. But unlike nonverbal gestures, handwriting leaves a trace, making it possible to examine at any time or place. More specifically, experts like Posner analyze the structure elements of a person's handwriting, such as the spacing, the letter formations, and the quality of the ink trail to gain insights into a writer's personality. With that said, when the handwriting analysis is done properly, it never looks at one small personality habit or trait in isolation. It's easy to say this means that, but that approach is overly simplistic and doesn't provide a complete picture of someone's personality, says Posner, author of Clinical Graphology and Interpretive Manual for Mental Health Practitioners. A good graphologist always uses handwriting analysis alongside other measures, not independently. Now, throughout its existence, some have argued that handwriting analysis is a pseudoscience and shouldn't be considered a legitimate practice. Technically, graphology lacks the reliability and validity necessary for a procedure to be considered scientific, Posner explains. Rather, it's considered a projective technique used to learn more about someone's personality in the context of insight-oriented psychotherapy. In this way, handwriting analysis is similar to interpreting what your dreams reveal about you, which Posner points out is a method some clinicians routinely use, even though it has not been demonstrated to be reliable or valid. Graphology and dream interpretation, for that matter, facilitate insight and self-exploration, advance the therapeutic process by providing food for thought, and may provide tentative insights which clients themselves will determine as relevant or not, she explains. As such, graphology is not only legitimate, but rich and interesting too. And while there are professional organizations that offer training and certification, it's also a good sign when a graphologist has mental health training or credentials in a recognized healthcare discipline, Posner adds. So, when it comes to what handwriting analysis can potentially tell you about a person, Posner breaks it down into 7 categories. It can provide insights into someone's personality style, the level of intelligence, cognitive thinking style, natural or developed talents, which is, of course, musical or artistic ability, creative problem-solving skills, social skills, etc. Defining characteristics like a people person, a scholar, detailed-oriented perfectionist, the culture vulture, and, of course, attachment style, and then the unconscious motivations, whether they are guilt-ridden, people-pleasing, impulsive, prone to anger, repressed, etc. People write in unique and idiosyncratic ways, so it would make sense that those characteristic swirls or scratchings may be expressing facets of the writer's individuality and personality, Poisner explains. But properly trained graphologists know that handwriting analysis is more art than science, and any insights that glean from someone's handwriting must be confirmed by the writers themselves. And while it's interesting to read experts' assessments of presidents' handwriting and celebrity signatures, you're probably more interested in analyzing your own handwriting. We definitely are. So we asked Poisner to outline some of the most distinctive characteristics in a person's writing and review what they mean according to the interpretive principles of graphology. Read on to see what your handwriting says about you. Well, heavy, soft. Well, heavy versus soft pen pressure. Can you feel the imprints of your handwriting on the other side of the page? If so, that's a sign that you used heavy pressure, which can be an indicator of intensity, energy, and physical strength, as well as forcefulness, aggressiveness, controlling tendencies, and or stress. And depending on what else we see in the handwriting, we may say this writer has a good constitution, is energetic and enjoys being active, she says. In a different writing sample, we may find signs of aggression, somewhat temperamental, possibly reactive, and irritable. If your pressure is soft, on the other hand, and features are unusually rounded letters, it could be indicative of a yielding, hesitant personality. And this may be somebody who grew up with a dominant or aggressive caretaker or sibling and never learned how to be assertive, Poisner explains. Large to small letters versus. The size of your letters may provide clues about how you wish to be perceived by others. If you write using large letters, you probably enjoy being the center of attention, Poisner says. If you constantly use small letters, however, you're likely an introvert. This is somebody who prefers to take up less space, somebody who possesses a sense of humility, somebody who feels that they have a small but important role to play, somebody who feels small but beloved, she says. People who write like this also tend to have good concentration skills. For example, says Poisner, Albert Einstein's handwriting was small, which is indicative of his exceptional ability to concentrate on his work. Oh. Uphill line, straight line, and downhill line. Lines that go downhill, uphill, or in a straight line. Now, in handwriting analysis, the complete basic book, Karen Ament and Mary Ruiz note that handwriting that gradually slants downward could suggest that a person is experiencing disappointment, unhappiness, or discouragement. It could also be a hidden sign of depression. Poisner agrees, adding that it may also indicate a lack of energy. Former Prime Minister of Israel, Menachem Begin, suffered from depression, and his signature was a classic example of that, she notes. Handwriting that moves uphill over the course of a line may signal optimism, enthusiasm, and ambition. According to Poisner, astronaut Sally Ride's signature, which slants upward, is an example of this. Finally, someone who can write in a straight line without needing some type of guidance on the page to do so demonstrates a strong work ethic, a good constitution, and the ability to steward energy in a way that makes one reliable and consistent. Your right versus your left slant. The words that are slanted to the right or left may offer clues about your attachment style. The left slant or upright slant is more withholding, or what we might call the avoidance style, Poisner explains. Words that are inclined to the right more often come from people who are emotionally accessible or involved versus removed. As always, graphologists look to other characteristics in the handwriting to help contextualize the slant. There's nuance, depending on what else you see in the writing, says Poisner. For example, somebody can be very loopy, expansive, emotional-looking handwriting, but then they have an upright slant. In other words, they have controls in place to keep their soft and warm nature somewhat guarded or protected. Your T's. How do you cross your T's? Well, crossing T's with sweeping T-bar strokes is a telltale sign of generosity, according to graphologists. This is the exuberant giver, Poisner says. The left side of the page constitutes the self. The right side of the page symbolizes the world out there. When that horizontal stroke reaches toward the outer margin like that in a grand sweeping gesture, this is somebody who wants to extend their energy and resources toward others. Traditionally, someone who crosses a T-bar with a stroke that is placed on the higher end of the T stem is said to be ambitious, similar to someone whose lines of writing gradually move upward, Poizner says. T-bar crossings that slant downward at a sharp angle, on the other hand, are seen as indicators of the critical person. That downward stroke usually indicates someone who has a negativity bias, Poizner says. The glass is half empty. How you dot your I's? Well, how you dot your lowercase i, similar to crossing your T, the way you dot a lowercase I can reveal your attention to detail, as well as a sense of rebelliousness. Look at how the dot is formed, Poizner says. Is it a small, precise little dot? If so, that could be a potential sign of perfectionism or somebody who is attentive to details. If your dot is a round circle that's much bigger and more noticeable, like if you turn it into a small smiley face, it could be an indicator of your playfulness or desire for attention, Poizner explains. But if the dot is hastily made with a sharp angle within it, like a check mark, the writer may be fiery or prone to irritation and anger. Oh, I see. Talking about that. Okay. Not enough space, perfectly spaced, to too much space. Yes. In addition to pen strokes and letter formation, experts in handwriting analysis also pay attention to what's not written on a page. More specifically, the amount of space someone leaves between words. According to Poizner, the standard spacing for handwriting is leaving one character width between each word, the same as when we're typing. Writers who leave less than that may crave contact with other people and can be a bit intrusive and needy, she notes. On the other hand, those who leave too much space between words may be figuratively distant, disconnected, or isolated. And last, when people have perfectly spaced handwriting like Einstein, it demonstrates their organizational skills and ability to see things in perspective. Fantastic. Jane Doe. Well, yeah, the legibility of your signature. Handwriting analysis aside, our signatures are inextricably linked to our identity. For example, if you have a legible signature, it's important to you to be clear, communicative, easily read. This is a conscientious person who perceives the importance of being a member of the collective, with all the norms and expectations involved, so that we all can get along harmoniously, Poizner explains. They respect convention. If you have an indecipherable signature, you're harder to read, not only in terms of legibility, but also when it comes to insights into your personality. According to Poizner, this may be due, at least in part, to your profession. Like if you have a job that requires you to use your signature over and over again, and for the sake of productivity as well as your own ease and comfort, you adapt your signature to make it simple and quick. That becomes a variable that influences the handwriting, and it's not defiance, but merely a form of efficiency, Poizner explains. In this case, we don't apply graphology interpretive rules rigidly. And perhaps the best known example of this is Doctor's notorious terrible handwriting, which she says may instead be the product of being unable to keep up with their thoughts as they write. In other cases, however, unreadable autographs are a form of defiance, a demonstration of a person's attitude towards social norms and conventions. There are occasions when you are seeing sheer rebelliousness in the illegibility of someone's signature. And wide versus narrow loop on a lowercase l. Well, there are a lot we can learn from the size of loops, like the lowercase l. In handwriting, loops are the avenue of emotion, says Poizner. The more loopiness, the more warm-hearted, expressive, playful, emotional, and or sensitive the writer is. If the loop is far too large for the letter, though, it could be interpreted as ego-sensitivity, someone who is just a little too easy to wind up, or has too many nerve endings, you could say, she notes. On the other end of the spectrum, a person who makes their lowercase l with such narrow loops that they're technically not loops at all, but rather retraced lines, may be self-conscious and prone to retracing their steps. This person is a little too inhibited, says Poizner, somebody who's aware of what people are looking at when they are looking at them. And finally, Handwriting with conventional loops on lowercase l's may be indicative of conformity. This is a person who is agreeable, cooperative, and plays by the rules, according to Poisson. Rounded versus pointed letters. Well, rounded handwriting, like loopy letters, conveys emotion, according to Poisner. Someone who writes with rounded letters may be more relational, emotionally engaged, and agreeable. Pointed letters, on the other hand, are associated with analytical, left brain processing, and may be a sign that the writer is prone to black or white thinking. Strong angularity may indicate tendencies toward irritability, anger management issues, and certainly critical thinking. She notes, that person loves to go to a party and have a good political argument. Letters that are mostly uniform in size versus inconsistent. Some people have handwriting so perfect it could be a font. In that case, the uniformity suggests rigidity, Poisner says. Perhaps someone who tends to be obsessive or compulsive. However, handwriting that's comfortably consistent, hinting at regularities rather than rigidity, likely comes from someone who is calibrated and balanced. We want people to have enough self-discipline that they can conform to social norms as necessary, and that includes creating modulated, legible handwriting, Poisner explains. Handwriting full of variability in size and other characteristics may be the sign of a modulation problem, something Poisner says likely has implications for the writer's mood and possibly behavior. This may be the sensitive person who is highly responsive to stimuli, she says. It may be a person who is referred to as psychologically young, who is still working through the chaotic emotions of childhood and has not created a singular ego identity, an organized expression of self that would serve as an anchor in the personality. And this is somebody who is potentially chaotic in time and place, coming late, losing things, and dropping the ball. Slow, rushed. Okay, graphologists also consider whether it appears as though someone took their time writing something or was in a hurry. Someone with slow and deliberate handwriting is a conscientious person who is detail-oriented, prefers a slow process, and will not be happy juggling many balls in the air at the same time. Poisner explains, we all have our preferred pace, and this individual is like that turtle. Slow and steady wins the race. Hasty handwriting, however, can be an expression of intelligence, someone who thinks so quickly that their hand can't keep up, says Poisner. On the flip side, it can be someone who is poorly organized, impulsive, messy, or in possession of poor executive functioning skills. It can also be the person who is dynamic and functional. She notes if it's hurried but also legible, and the spacing is organized, then this is somebody who moves fast but meets obligations and is effective. Similar to handwriting that lacks uniformity in letter and size, handwriting that slants in different directions over the course of a paragraph or page is a potential sign of a disorganized personality. When there's too much variability in a person's writing, there may also be chaotic elements in their personality, according to Poisner. Someone who charges forth and then throws on the brakes suddenly, causing whiplash. In some cases, slant inconsistency is related to the content. I had a friend who had issues with her mother, says Poisner. She had a right-inclined script, but when she wrote the word mother, all of a sudden you saw that left slant. And as children, most of us started off printing, then learned how to write in cursive in school around age 7 or 8. Once we reached the point where our penmanship was no longer graded and monitored, we were left to develop our own writing style. The handwriting of someone who continues to use connected letters demonstrates the dominance of logical thinking, where the person works sequentially to connect related ideas, says Poisner. It's also an expression of conforming to social norms, someone who is conventional, cooperative, and appreciates the importance of being predictable, and therefore does what they are expected to do. According to Poisner, handwriting analysis is a bit thicker when someone writes with letters that aren't connected, as the interpretation may vary depending on whether the person learned how to write in cursive script in school. For those who did learn penmanship in school, she says that writing with disconnected letters is an expression of independent-mindedness and potentially rebelliousness, given that they were taught to connect letters. There's also another category, something called print script, where the writer uses simplified strokes and a mix of connected and disconnected letters. This is usually the handwriting of an artist or writer, Poisner notes. This writer is highly intuitive and thereby has an innate sense of when it's most efficient to connect and when it's most efficient to disconnect. It shows good common sense, ingenuity, and creativity. When it comes to the formation of letters, including the letter O, Poizner says that open letters are typically associated with people who have an open personality and talk a lot. They may also be lenient with themselves, prone to letting themselves off the hook, and may not hold themselves to the standard that has been set, she adds. Closed letters, on the other hand, may come from someone who is more tight-lipped. By way of example, if you see the signature of Justin Trudeau, he's got all sorts of things enclosed in all of those over-elaborated closures, says Poizner. Back in 2016, when I got a hold of his signature, I'm on record as describing him as extremely secretive. Since then, he's constantly had trouble with ethics violations, backroom dealings with this, which then come to light. And so, when there are closed letters, carefully sealed and even reinforced, but there's stuff inside the closures, this is somebody who has secrets. Thank you, Elizabeth Yuko, for that long but effective article about your handwriting. We'll come back with the book of the author of Sitting Under One Roof on tomorrow's program. We'll look at one more article. Why is snooze 9 minutes? We'll be back with more DMS 3000 News right after this.
Drink, love it like we do. I know I love mine. I see like I do. I see got a real fruit taste. Vitamin C too. I see. Fruit drink has such great taste to see. That's why we love to drink high C. High C fruit drink. We love high C. Kangaroos, kangaroos, are the shoes. Kangaroos, kangaroos, shoes to choose. Kangaroos, kangaroos, the winning shoes. Kangaroos, kangaroos. Kangaroos, kangaroos, are the news. Kangaroos, kangaroos, shoes to choose. Kangaroos, kangaroos, pocket shoes. Kangaroos, 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 kangaroos.
I can't get my kids to eat right. All they want is junk food.
Do they like chocolate milk?
Chocolate milk.
Try giving them extra nutrition with rich chocolate Ovaltine. It's got vitamins Nestle Quick and Hershey syrup don't.
Yeah, it may be good for them, but will they like it?
My kids love it, hot or cold.
So my kids will like Ovaltine and it's good for them? Wow.
When my kids want chocolate milk, it's rich chocolate Ovaltine.
More Ovaltine, please.
Moms have the neatest way to ease you into things. Like when you were a kid and needed a laxative, she wouldn't give you a harsh laxative. No. She'd say, Mom will make it better. Bet she meant this, Mom. Phillips Milk of Magnesia. M-O-M. And even when you're grown up, Mom gives you easy relief, not harsh. Doctors recommend Milk of Magnesia. See? Mom knows what's good for you. You know, no matter how old you are, nobody treats you better than Mom.
Come on along, I'll take you to the lullaby of Broadway. Hickory and Ballyhoo.
The lullaby of Broadway.
And in the center of it all
Is the Milford Plaza.
Stay at the Milford Plaza Hotel with cocktail dinner and breakfast for $43 per person. Discover why we are the lullaby of Broadway.
The Milford Plaza is the lullaby of all Broadway.
Tempty whipped cream cheese isn't just for people who like bagels.
And the Tempty, please. Thank you.
Tempty is creamy enough to eat with an omelet, light enough and fluffy enough to spread on a croissant, and delicious enough for just about everyone.
Bagel for your Tempty, sir? A bagel? What's a bagel?
Tempty whipped cream cheese is whipped, so it's bigger than the bagel.
What's a bagel? Commercials got me laughing up there. I guess they just didn't realize what a bagel was back in the day. Oh, they knew, but I guess they played it off for the cream cheese. Okay, since that article went so long, the executive decision is to do the Daily Motivator so we can get moving here tonight. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to finish up our program with the Daily Motivator, look at what holiday is today, tomorrow, News and Weird kind of overtook that as well too. So today's daily motivator for Monday, March 11th is clear and present purpose. Start the day strong. Start it with purpose. As you work your way through the hours, make them mean something. Live them with clear and present purpose. Keep your focus on meaningful, positive purpose, and you'll keep the value and the accomplishments coming. Continue to remind yourself of what you intend to do and why. Claim all the moments of your life and fill them with richness. With purpose, you can push through the distractions, interruptions, and conflicts. With purpose, you give meaning to the joys, the victories, the challenges, to every experience. Choose purpose now and stick with it. Connect with the meaning that is your life and keep the goodness flowing. There you have it, folks. The Daily Motivator from Ralph Marston. Oh, yeah, great way to end the program here. We'll look at all of our other articles tomorrow, add one more to the mix, including we'll talk about that great book with Irma Yamashita and why the snooze button is 9 minutes. And we'll add one more article for flavoring. And don't forget also, too, Mark Leota will be with us on Wednesday to cover for me for this week's DMS 3000 News, episode number 137. All right, so all of that coming up in the next couple of days. Hope you had a great time with us today. Happy Monday as always. And remember, be honest, be real. Keep it simple, stupid. Kiss. We'll see you tomorrow for another edition. I'm Jason Canio. Good night.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Gary Dawson Network for more great content like this one.